this is why it's coming in. It is having an idling problem. It is not as smooth as God intended. See, let it run, Bubba. Yep, there it goes. So this thing used to be smooth as glass. I think I know what the culprit is. We did a motor swap in it. It had a 4-cylinder in it, put a 6-cylinder in it. And the guy who had the 6-cylinder before me had this really crappy looking Briggs & Stratton air filter on it. So don't give me crap. I did not put that on it. But I didn't replace it as soon as I should have either. And I'm sure it's ate some dirt, and that carburetor is just full of dirt. So we're just going to pull the carb off and clean it up. Simple video. What do you think? Clean it?
Yeah, clean it.
That's the carburetor. We're going to clean that. That's why the Jeep sounds like it's sick. So we're going to take the air filter off. I'm going to hand it over here to my helper, Karen. All right, don't lose that nut right there. But take all of this.
Will it burn me?
No, it won't burn you. Here, actually, I'll make it easier for you. Put that nut back on. Go set that on the table right over there. It's not that hot. Okay. So, we'll pull a fuel line. Choke's not even hooked up. Pull some vacuum lines. And 4 bolts. Easy peasy on this one. 4.2 liter, 6-cylinder dirt and carburetor. Screwdriver, wrench. It's going to be easy, they said. We're not going to have any problems, they said. Just a quick video before I go back to work tomorrow. I'm not going to tear into something I regret. Feels good for everybody. That whole thing wasn't supposed to come off. It's fine. It's fine. Hi, Bubba. What are you doing? Being weird? Seven sixteenths. You look bored over there, Care Bear. Give it. Give it. Give it. Got it. Alright, this part of the video, the swamp cooler was really drowning everything out, so I'm going to voice this part over. The carburetor's just getting ready to come out. I just had to unhook a few vacuum lines, PCV valve breather, all that fun stuff, but went ahead and pulled it up, took a look down inside the holes right there. No dirt really got into the engine itself. It looks like it just got into the ports of the carburetor itself, and take it over here to the workbench. So now pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to break this thing down. You got to pull all the screws all the way around the carburetor body, separating the top half from the bottom half. And what that's going to do is that's going to give us access to the jets, a lot of the orifices, and our accelerator pump, needle and seat, float bowls, all the internals of the carb. We're not really going to tear this thing completely down and do a complete overhaul because 2 reasons. One, there's just nothing to these little carders, and the other reason, it's an old trail Jeep. You saw the air cleaner on it. It's going to get dirty. So Yeah, we'll get this thing split apart here. Pull off some of these linkages and get it separated, and you'll see what we're going after. Pretty much brake clean or carb clean rebuild. So we got the screws out of the top here. What that's going to do is going to allow us to separate that top part from the bottom part. You can see we got a couple of linkages on both sides from the electronic choke, and then the other side just works the butterflies. But the C-clip's got to come off so we can separate the two ends, because the jets are pretty long. They go down into a cavity, and you don't want to try to force it out sideways. Some people try to leave some of the linkages on, and it just creates a mess. It's harder to go back together. But tiny little C-clips, you don't want to lose those. Make sure you put them in a tray or something that way, and put them all in one spot. Trick to getting those things off really is just stab yourself about 3-4 times with a screwdriver. About the time you stab yourself a 5th time, it'll come right out. I think I gotta stab myself one more time here, and voila, there you go. So we had a video camera going. I mean, we do these things all the time, so we pretty much got it memorized. But you know, we're recording this for you guys to kind of take a look real quick, see what we're doing. But if you're unfamiliar with these carburetors, not a bad idea to start a camera and do this if you want to remember where everything goes. But again, there's really not much to them. You know, do about 3 or 4 of them. Pretty soon you're doing it with your eyes closed. So I got one more linkage here. It's hanging up on me a bit. Thought I could be smarter than it and try to separate it with that linkage still attached, but rather than fight with it and risk busting the jets, we're going to pop the last C-clamp off there. And there you go. Said hang on to those things, they'll go flying and you'll never see them again. So pull that out, you see those 2 little pins right there. That's why I was trying not to break that orange thing. There's your accelerator pump. Somebody's definitely been into that carburetor before, because the age of that Jeep, that accelerator pump wouldn't look that good. Pretty shiny down in the tubes. If somebody's done it, it does have brass float bowls, which I love to see. I hate the plastic ones. So under that spring right there, I'm warning people about the ball bearing that could potentially be in there. They're not all that way, but I'm going to remove the that center section there. Usually it's the body for the jets. You'll see the jets slide out of there when I remove that. Now this part you want to be careful with too, because again, right there, those 2 pins, you do not want to piss those off. But there is a tiny ball bearing right there. Again, don't shake these things up, don't toss them around. Underneath that spring, that's what I'm checking for. There is a ball bearing down there as well. You can't really see it, but I've been through these about 1,000,000 times. So what we're going to do, throw a cloth down, so that way they can't go rolling on that steel table. Bam, right there. There's the 2 ball bearings. One of them you couldn't see, one of them you could. But imagine losing those things and never figuring out why your Jeep's not running right. You won't find the same size anywhere. The kits are always wrong. Hang on to the originals if you can. So that's pretty much any surprises you might run into in one of these. You know, just pulling out the guard, I'm going after the needle and seat here and the float. So the float can't quite lift out because the needle and seat is directly in the way, keeping it from lifting out. So you can't pull it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that. That's going to back the needle and seat out of my way. Just as soon as I find the right wrench. You see, as I back that out, it's going to give me room to slide that up and out of that groove. Put my needle and seat off to the side. Grab a hold of the float. Bam. Take a look down in there. That's what ethanol fuel does. Ethanol fuel is corn fuel. What does corn fuel do when all the fuel evaporates out of your float bowl? It turns to corn syrup. What does corn syrup do when it dries? It turns to corn flakes. What does that corn flake stuff do? It gets into every part of that carburetor and it runs like garbage. So fortunately it wasn't dirt that was my enemy here. It was a dang corn syrup fuel that we have that we're running these days, and they're just terrible on carburetors. Got my kids hanging out in the shop with me. You see them back there being goofballs. Little Miss Karen Jean and Landon David. Trying to get them interested in the shop. So you see the carburetor's pretty much apart right there. So all I'm going to do, now that I've gotten everything separated and cleaned out, I can blow out every orifice tube. If you got a little red tube that goes on the end of your brake clean can, huge help. Be careful when you're spraying into these orifices, because they have a way of going in and back out directly where your eyes are. No matter which way you turn it, it always finds a way into your eyeball. So I spray it until everything comes out clear. I'm getting the junk out of the float bowls right here. All that ethanol, cornflakes you see. Well, cornflakes is what we call it. It's all residue and crap caused by ethanol fuel, which is what we call cornflakes, is the end result. Those orifices right there you see I'm spraying out. Stick it in, it comes out the other direction. Spray it until you stop seeing cornflakes, you stop seeing dirt. When it comes out clear, go both directions real good. That's what's happening with this carb. These things are getting plugged up with that stuff. Nasty, nasty fuel. Doesn't seem to matter if you run premium or what. I will say Chevron mid-grade or better, or Shell V-Power. Outside of that, there really isn't any good fuel out there. Those aren't even the best. Or those aren't even great either. But they're the best that, fuel you're going to find out on the street. I guess I could have gone into more detail here, but I kind of know what to spray out and what not to spray out. What you saw me spraying there on the outside was the vacuum ports. The entire thing that happens there is they just suck vacuum. Anything that sucks vacuum can potentially suck things in from the environment around it. So if dirt is going to get introduced to the inside of your carburetor, it could very well come from a vacuum line. So get your vacuum ports cleaned out really good. It's just a good idea. It'll your vacuum advance on your distributor. Yeah, I sprayed one of those orifices and it found its way into my eye, but I'm trying to be a man and not cry about it. I think I cry a little bit off camera, but it's okay. Men can cry too. So that's pretty much the bottom of the body. Every orifice and everything got sprayed out. I saw some junk fly out with it. I sprayed until it came out clean. Then I went back the other direction, sprayed it till it was clean the other direction. I'm going to pull the gasket off because it's in pretty good shape. It's still pliable. Brake clean will dry out everything, and you don't want it to make your gasket crisp. So if you can avoid spraying it with the gasket on it, if it's still pliable, try to pull the gasket off. You can do the upper part of the body, a little bit of the power valve there, where my fuel inlet comes in. Actually, that's on the bottom side, but I'm just cleaning off the body, getting the dirt, just the general crud off of it. You can see the vacuum ports on the top side. They're not being used, they're plugged off. No way dirt can be introduced there, but if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. I did drop a linkage there. I'll pick that up later. I may have done that off camera. Pretty much here, making sure everything's shiny, clean, ready to go back together. I didn't want to hit that accelerator pump, power valve, whatever you want to call it, because it's rubber. I want it to stay pliable. Going back here to the needle and seat, I'm going to see if it's brass. aluminum or if it's rubber. Hoping for rubber. And I was pleasantly surprised. Got a rubber tipped needle and seat. Well, a rubber tipped needle for a brass seat. Cleaning out the seat really good. Now we're gonna make sure that rubber needle's just fine. Looks brand new. Again, somebody's been in this thing before. Put my washer on it, make sure it was still pliable. It was. Needle goes back in. Wasn't really a problem area, but you know, while you're there, just go ahead and get it all. And we're just gonna go back together just the way it came apart. Just as soon as I fix this pin that came out of its keeper. Fat fingers and tiny things don't work really well. But there we go. In it goes. Same order it came out. Drops in. Make sure it falls into the groove. Make sure the floats move. I'm going to put the keeper in there before I check it. So make sure the keeper doesn't put it in a bind. I'm just assuming that's a splash shield. We'll get that put back on. We're just going to make sure the float moves freely, and then it does. So now we can go ahead and put our needle and seat right back in the way it came out. Real, not a science to any of this. It really is just what you see is what you get. Alright, needle and seat is in. That float will go up and down. Open and allow fuel in, and when it floats up, it'll close it off. So you can also make your adjustment right there, but it worked just fine the way it was before, so we're not going to mess with what worked. Those ball bearings from before, good idea to just clean them off. Don't spray them too crazy or they'll go flying across the shop floor. You'll never see it again. Big ball and big hole, little ball, little hole. Super simple, guys. Don't overthink any of this stuff. Spring, make it seat directly over the ball. That spring's there for a reason. That ball's there for a reason. So, common sense would tell me that spring holds the ball down, so make sure it's centered over that ball. There's a bunch of little orifices in here dealing with the jets, your bypasses, you go down the throat of the carburetor. So, get those cleaned out the best you can. Again, no matter which one you sprayed into, it will find its way back and hit you directly in the eyeball. That's why I'm squinting, just waiting for my moment. And I think I got pretty lucky here. I didn't get an eye full of brake clean today. But that's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to get you a good shot to the camera. I'm trying to get that little red rod on the top, the tip of those jets. Kind of a pain using my thumb as a guide to hold it up against that brass pin there. Sprayed it in, make sure it came out the other end. I'm gonna figure out which end it came out of and we'll blow it back the other way. Again, it's not a science. It's nothing you need to commit to memory. This is caveman stuff here, guys. You just spray it in, you find the hole it came out of, spray it back the other way. Go back and forth until you stop seeing junk. When it comes out clear, you know you got it clean. And if it's not flowing, sometimes you got to get you can use a torch tip cleaner, and you can clean out those orifices. The gasket, again, was still good on that. I'm going to pop it right back on, tighten it back down. There's no need to pull the butterflies on these. You know, people will take these things down to nothing. If this carb had been sitting in somebody's workbench for 10 years, we'd have pulled the butterflies. We'd have done a lot more stuff. Put it in the sonic cleaner for about an hour, but there just really wasn't any need for that. Just general gook, grime, a little bit of dust, but mainly that ethanol corn syrup that turned to corn flakes. You got an older vehicle that's running rough right here, this is pretty much the fix for that. If this doesn't do it, mess with your timing a little bit, but if your timing was fine before, chances are it's just your carburetor. Timing really doesn't change. There's no real need to attack the timing right away. Always go to the carburetor first. But in any case, right now we're going to go ahead and get the top of this carburetor put back on. There's those two brass pins right there. You've got your accelerator pump. You've got that spring and that guide. All four of those items have to line up perfectly, especially those little brass pins right there. You'll see down on the bottom the other brass keepers that they got to line up into, and they're a snug fit, and there's 2 of them, so you're lining up blind, and that's what you're going to see right here. There goes the accelerator pump. We've got the spring and the keeper in. Now right here is where you're fighting with the pins. You really don't want to bend those, so this is where you can't go caveman on it. Got to have a little bit of finesse, a little bit of surgeon hands here. You see those brass keepers? There's one on that side, one on the other side, kind of in the shadow there. But that's the target you're trying to hit with those 2 little brass pins. So I sped this up so you can kind of see what I had to go through to get it. I'm not pushing down on it at all. Actually, the opposite. I'm lifting up on it, and you let gravity do the work. You do not want to force that. You bend those things, it will never work right. They will get hung up. You will have fuel in places you don't want fuel. So let it fall in naturally, take some of the weight from it, and it'll go right in. Again, don't overthink it. It's all caveman stuff. Carburetor is about as simple as it gets. A lot of people are afraid of them. There's just no reason for it. So, the boring part, we're just putting screws on right here, kind of BSing and chit-chatting while we're doing it. But you get the top on. Once you got everything seated, you know it's good. Make sure it doesn't come unseated and those pins come down. If those screws give you any kind of resistance, you back off of it and you check those pins again. You see that there's a lot of cutaways here, and there's about 2 or 3 times I wasn't happy with the way the screws were going down. It felt like I was forcing those pins in, but it was good. There was nothing wrong with it. So we're going to move on. We're going to put these linkages in. Got some linkages for the choke. You got some linkages for the butterflies. Again, not rocket science. They only fit one way. They came off one way. They're directional. They're shaped. If it doesn't fit, try another hole. So don't overthink it. Easy stuff here. Make sure you have yourself a good set of needle nose. Don't try to put these on with your fingers. I got fat fingers, and you try to snap them on with your finger, you'll lose them. They'll go flying. Get a pair of needle nose so you can get a good hold of these things. Kind of using my hand there as a background. They're hard to see. So use the tools if you got them. One of those things go flying, you'll never find it again. We got cases and cases of those little clips, but not everybody does, so I'm trying to show the right way to do what we're doing here. So everything's in. This Jeep's going to shake it up a bit, so make sure you move it around, shake it, actuate everything, move it around. If it doesn't start coming off there on the bench, it's not going to come off in the Jeep. Get our last one hooked up here. For a moment there, I thought I was going to do it with my fingers, but I've been there before. I know better. Put it on the pliers. Use your tools. And that's it. Okay, so real quick, we're going to touch on this. This is your air-fuel mixture right here. Both of those screws, those adjustments right there. With just about every vehicle out there, what you're going to do, you're going to turn them all the way in until they stop. Once they've stopped, turn them back out, a turn and a half. That's your starting point. Put it on the vehicle, start the vehicle. Now walk around back, stand there for a bit. If your eyes start burning, you're too rich. Now, if your eyes aren't burning, it just sounds like it's struggling, coughing, and firing back on you, then you're probably too lean. People have ate laundry detergent before, so I feel that I need to make a point to say this. Do not stick your head directly next to the pipe. Do not suck on the tailpipe. Just stand back there. If your eyes are burning, you're too rich. That's a pretty dead giveaway. But you just kind of listen to the engine, snap the throttle a couple times. You'll know where you're at. Let's go put it back on the Jeep. So you guys already seen it come off, so there's no sense in beating a dead horse here. It's just everything in reverse. Put the bolts back on, your linkages and your fuel line, and then we're going to fire it up. We're going to see how it runs. I did want to slow down here and just mention again how much I hate this air cleaner. I hate it more than you all do. Again, I got this engine used, kind of slapped it in a hurry to make a trip that we were all taking. Couldn't find the right adapter for that particular carb. Still haven't. I'm going to end up fabricating something and so I could put a bigger air cleaner on it. Or I don't really need a snorkel, but thought about going that route too. So kind of just left it while I was test driving it and checking out a bunch of other things on the engine. It's been on several trips now. The engine's pretty solid. I can go ahead and start straightening out a lot of this stuff, but yeah, I don't like the air cleaner either. That's the point I'm making here. This isn't something I would typically run. Well, everything's back together. I'm going to close the hood and we're going to see how she runs.
Light. See how she does.
It already sounds better.
Oh, like I said, it's already 20 times better. The audio is probably going to go to crap. You should hear the motor for a little bit. Alright, you guys in good back there? Okay. Give it a little boost right here.
Way better.
Million times better. And usually right here is where it stalls out and dies. And it goes back to idle and I start hitting the power steering pump. And then the drag from the power steering pump will usually kill it.